I think it's a very intriguing fight, two generational greats. I think it's very difficult for Bud moving up that high in weight, but if anyone can do it, it might be him. His movement and his IQ is second to none. But it's different when you're facing Canelo Alvarez up there.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a fantastic fight. Two generational greats, two pound-for-pound greats. I do think the weight will be too much for Terence. I think even in the Madrimov fight, you saw that.
Eddie Hearn has just shared his verdict on the most awaited fight.
Eddie Hearn has shared his take on the much-anticipated fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. However, Sam Jones, a devoted Crawford fan, believes Crawford may be too small to handle Canelo. While Jones respects Crawford's skill, he feels Canelo's size and power will be a huge challenge. He described Canelo as a compact, muscular fighter, not necessarily tall, but built with pure strength. Jones stressed that Canelo's physicality could be the deciding factor, making it tough for Crawford to come out on top.
For Crawford to win the fight.
I prefer Crawford. Listen, I'm a big Terence Crawford fan, right? I love Terence Crawford, huge Crawford fan. I just think in this fight, he's just going to be too small in this fight. Canelo is massive. He's a unit. He's not tall in stature, but if you've been around Canelo, he's just a lump, isn't he? Canelo, he's a right lump, and I just think Canelo would be too big for him.
We haven't had a chance
I'd love to see Crawford win.
Dana White also gave his opinion on the potential showdown between Canelo and Crawford, calling it a super fight between two elite fighters. When asked who he thinks would win, he admitted he wasn't sure. However, he did confirm that if the fight happens, he will likely be in attendance.
I don't know. I mean, these are two guys that have accomplished a lot. It's one of what you would call a super fight. Absolutely. And I do super fights, so.
Who do you feel wins?
I don't know. I don't know.
Will you be in attendance? Will you be there?
Probably. More than likely, yes.
However, Eddie Hearn described
Eddie Hearn called the fight between Canelo and Crawford a fascinating clash between two all-time greats. He acknowledged that moving up in weight would be a serious test for Crawford, but noted that if anyone could make it work, it would be him, thanks to his exceptional movement and boxing IQ. However, Hearn pointed out that while Canelo weighs 168 pounds on paper, he could be around 180 to 185 pounds on fight night, making Crawford's challenge even tougher.
I think it's a very intriguing fight, two generational greats. I think it's very difficult for Bud moving up that high in weight, but if anyone can do it, it might be him. His movement and his IQ is second to none. But it's different when you're facing Canelo Alvarez up there, not just at 168, but on the night, probably 180, 185. It's going to be a big task.
Keith Thurman weighed in, stating that while Canelo Alvarez is extremely difficult to beat, he is not invincible. He explained that Canelo has solid defense, sharp head movement, great timing, powerful offense, and exceptional punching power, making him a formidable.
The thing about Canelo Alvarez is extremely hard to beat, but he's not unbeatable. Now you can say this about every fighter, but this is Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is extremely hard to beat, but he's not unbeatable.
Paulie Malignaggi believes Crawford is destined to win this fight, suggesting that his career trajectory has positioned him perfectly for this moment compared to how Canelo's career has unfolded.
Right thing is supposed to happen every once in a while in this freaking world, which it never does. I feel like Crawford is supposed to win this fight. It's just a favor to boxing for the way he went about his career and the way Canelo went about his career.
Kevin Cunningham believes Terence Crawford has the talent and intelligence to take down Canelo, even though it won't be easy. He acknowledges Canelo as one of the best fighters in history, but sees Crawford as a rare talent who can rise to the occasion. While he doesn't expect Crawford to dominate, he believes Crawford is skilled enough to exploit Canelo's weaknesses and secure the win.
Alvarez, one of the greatest fighters ever. So I think Terence is special, and it's going to take it takes a special fighter to move up multiple weight classes and still dominate. And I think Terence Crawford has the ability, not to say he'll dominate Canelo Alvarez, but I think he's special enough to where he can find a way to expose Canelo's flaws and pull it off. I just think he's a special enough fighter, and he's gifted enough, and he's smart enough to win a boxing match with Canelo Alvarez.
Cunningham also believes Crawford will not only rely on his technical skills, but will also fight with aggression to earn Canelo's respect. He expects Crawford to strike a balance between strategy and toughness. Cunningham is confident that Crawford has what it takes to win and stands by his belief that Crawford can pull off an upset. Eddie Hearn called Canelo versus Crawford a showdown between two legendary fighters, but warned that the weight gap could be too much for Crawford to handle. He noted that even at 154 pounds, Crawford is not considered a big fighter, making a move to 168 an even greater challenge. While acknowledging Crawford's outstanding boxing IQ and skill, Hearn emphasized that Canelo is just as smart in the ring and has a clear size advantage. He suggested that Canelo should start fast and aggressively since Crawford's footwork could make it hard for him to land clean punches.
It's a fantastic fight, you know, two generational greats, two pound-for-pound greats. I do think the weight will be too much for Terence. I think even in the Madrimov fight, you saw that physically, I think he's, you know, even at 154, he's not a big 154. He's definitely not a big 160, and he's definitely not even a small 168. So, but he has got unbelievable skill, and he's got a huge boxing IQ, but so has Canelo Alvarez. So I do give him the edge in that fight.
Do we see a stoppage?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, wow.
If Canelo's active in the fight, depends. He's got to get to him early. Yeah. Terence will be moving his feet, and Canelo won't like that. You know, he wants you to come and fight.
WWE star Big, he shared his excitement for a potential fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, calling it a dream matchup for boxing fans. While he recognized Canelo's size advantage, he also questioned whether the wear and tear of his long career might start to show. Big, he made it clear that he won't bet against Crawford at this point, and if forced to pick, he would lean toward Crawford winning by decision, though he doesn't think Crawford can knock Canelo out.
Get Bud and Canelo. Can we please get Bud Crawford and Canelo? I don't know if we're going to see it, but man, I think that's what damn near all fight fans want to see.
Who do you have in that fight? Break it down.
I don't know, man. I can't root against Bud right now. You wonder if Canelo and the miles start to catch up. It's a great fight. Obviously, Canelo's the bigger man, but seeing Bud put some weight on, I won't root against Bud. Gun to my head, I'll go Bud Crawford.
Dang. So how do you see it going? Decision, knockout?
A decision. I don't think he'd finish Canelo, but I think we'd see a decision.
Ronnie Shields analyzed how Crawford might handle Canelo's pressure, drawing a comparison to Floyd Mayweather's dominant victory over Canelo. He pointed out that when Canelo pressed Mayweather, the former champ used sharp footwork and angles to outmaneuver him, forcing Canelo to reset constantly. Shields believes Crawford will study and refine that strategy, using his movement and ring IQ to frustrate Canelo. He is confident that if Crawford sticks to a smart, disciplined game plan, he has a real shot at success.
Crawford has the power to maybe keep Canelo honest and maybe
but you don't need power.
But just I'm just saying. I guess the aspect is Canelo's gonna want to press him, you know, at some point. But you know, Crawford likes to fight.
Okay, Canelo wanted to press Floyd too.
True.
He tried to. So I kept stepping around him. You know, kept looking for Floyd. You know, Floyd was right there. And then we just make one or two simple moves. Canelo had to reset. Floyd never had to reset. Boom, 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 step around. Boom, 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 step around. That was it. Trust me, Crawford is going to look at that. He's going to perfect that. And that's why I gave him.
Ismatov shared his thoughts on the fight, stating that the outcome depends on how it unfolds. If the bout goes the full 12 rounds, he believes Crawford's intelligence and strategy will give him the advantage. However, if the fight ends in a knockout, he favors Canelo due to his punching power. Ismatov acknowledged Crawford's experience, intelligence, and well-rounded skill set, which make him a serious threat to any opponent.
12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, what do you think about that fight if they did fight? Looks like it's up for September.
Good fight. You know, if 168 pounds, I think it's Canelo, but it's Canelo better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, it's Canelo.
What makes Crawford so difficult to fight against?
He has power, smart, in more practical.
He has more experience.
He's very good. Bob Arum weighed in on the potential showdown between.
Bob Arum also weighed in on the potential fight, highlighting the major size difference as a crucial factor. While he acknowledged Canelo's impressive skill, Arum believes Crawford has a superior boxing ability. Despite the physical disadvantage, he stated that if he had to bet, he would choose Crawford because of his outstanding skill set. However, he admitted that Canelo's size could be a decisive factor in the fight's outcome.
Or is it just 50-50?
It's very, very hard because of the difference in weight. I would think that if I had to bet the fight, that I would bet Terence because Terence has more skills than Canelo. But he's given away a lot of weight, a lot of real weight. So that matters. But again, Terence is a tremendously skilled fighter. So is Canelo a very skilled fighter. But he doesn't have the same skill set as Terence.
Caleb Plant highlighted Terence's.
Caleb Plant praised Crawford's strength and punching ability. He highlighted Crawford's ability to switch between orthodox and southpaw while maintaining excellent control of the distance, whether up close at mid-range or from a distance. Plant expressed excitement about the fight, noting that its unpredictability makes it even more intriguing. Fans are eager to see how things unfold once both fighters step into the ring. Plant shared his advice with Terence, encouraging him to stay true to his natural fighting style. He highlighted Terence's ability to switch stances effortlessly and fight at various ranges. Plant advised him to stay calm, enjoy the moment, and focus on preparing well in training camp. In the end, he said it all comes down to stepping into the ring and seeing how things play out. Roy Jones Jr. argued that weight wouldn't be the deciding factor in a potential fight between Canelo and Crawford. He stressed that the outcome would depend on Canelo's approach. If Canelo sticks to his strengths and executes a well-thought-out game plan, he'll have the upper hand. However, any mistakes or lack of strategy could open the door for Crawford to take control and secure the win. 16. Amir Khan pointed out that Crawford's size alone wouldn't be enough to beat Canelo. He acknowledged Canelo's technical improvements since their fight and praised his performances against Bivol and Munguia. Despite discussions about Canelo aging, Khan believes he remains a dominant fighter and a tough challenge for Crawford. Jaron Boots Ennis highlighted the challenge Crawford might face in gaining 14 pounds to fight Canelo. He noted that adding weight could affect Crawford's speed and performance, making it unclear how well he would adapt until fight night. Danny Garcia acknowledged the excitement surrounding a Canelo versus Crawford fight, calling both elite fighters. He found the stylistic clash intriguing, but pointed out that Canelo's size at 168 pounds would be a significant challenge for Crawford. Despite this, he emphasized the fight's massive appeal and financial impact. Adonis Wilkins analyzed a potential fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, suggesting that Crawford's move up to 168 pounds could be a disadvantage. While he recognized Crawford's talent, he noted that gaining more weight after moving up to 154 pounds could slow him down. Wilkins emphasized that Canelo's power would be a crucial factor, as Crawford might not carry the same punching force at the higher weight. Wilkins predicted a late-round victory for Canelo, comparing it to Canelo's fight against Caleb Plant. He expects Crawford to start strong but fade in the later rounds, allowing Canelo's power to take over. By the 10th round, Wilkins believes Canelo will land heavy shots and wear Crawford down. Teofimo Lopez shared his thoughts on a potential fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, stressing that both fighters must first handle their upcoming challenges. He noted that in modern boxing, a fighter's reputation is heavily shaped by their most recent performance. Because of this, Lopez believes it's essential to see how Crawford and Canelo perform in their next fights before making any predictions about their possible matchup. Jose Benavidez Jr. strongly supported Terence Crawford, arguing that many are underestimating his chances against Canelo Alvarez. While acknowledging Canelo's size and weight advantage, he highlighted Crawford's sharp boxing IQ and tactical mindset. Benavidez also expressed frustration that his brother, David Benavidez, never got the chance to fight Canelo, though he admitted only Canelo knows why. Despite this, he remains confident that Crawford would make an exciting fight. Benavidez Jr. praised Crawford's ability to switch stances, making him an unpredictable and versatile opponent. He noted that many fighters fear Canelo, giving him a psychological edge, but he's certain Crawford won't be intimidated. Instead, he believes Crawford's strategic approach could help him gain control and turn the fight in his favor. Joel Diaz dismissed the idea that Crawford could easily defeat Canelo, calling such claims unrealistic due to the major size difference. He stressed that Canelo's power and strength could shift the fight's momentum with a single punch. Diaz pointed out that while Crawford has already moved up from 147 to 154 pounds, jumping to 168 pounds will be an even bigger challenge, as it requires adjusting to a much larger weight class. Blair Cobbs expressed deep respect for Terence Crawford, calling him a close friend and a fighter he has supported for years. However, he admitted it was tough to choose a winner in a potential fight against Canelo Alvarez. Cobbs recognized the challenge Crawford would face due to Canelo's durability and size. While he hopes Crawford wins, he acknowledged the serious obstacles he would have to overcome in such a demanding fight. Brian Norman admitted it was initially difficult to pick a winner between Crawford and Canelo since both are exceptional fighters. He acknowledged that size typically plays a major role, often giving the bigger fighter an edge. However, he recalled cases like Roberto Duran and Shane Mosley, who successfully moved up in weight and won significant fights. Based on those examples, Norman believes Crawford could follow a similar path and confidently picked him as the winner.